Alright, hard to keep track of the days. I thought it was Saturday today, but it's actually Sunday, April the 19th.
Yeah.
Today would have been our first show of the year, the Ancaster British Car Show and Flea Market. But obviously that's been cancelled in the current environment, so we're spending the day at Les's shop instead. And it's probably a good thing it was cancelled because pouring rain outside and about 5 degrees Celsius, so it wouldn't have been a very good day for a show at least, although we could have wandered around inside the buildings and looked for some parts or sold some parts, etc. Anyway, we're back, huh?
Last year it was like in the horse field there, and it was all mucky and soft, remember?
No, not really. That's a long time ago, Les. We're on the 73 project this morning, well, the 73 body tub, contributing towards the 76 TR6 project. And we've got about, what do we figure, about 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 fasteners, I think, something like that. A couple at the rear to do, a couple of bumper brackets, or one bumper bracket at the rear, one fender stay at the rear, and we got the 2 bumper brackets at the front of the car still to take off, and the front bumper mounting bolts are attached, so we'll get those off the car this morning, and then hopefully we'll have a liftoff later today. I think the first thing we're going to do though is we're going to get the bin out of Les's truck, and we're going to clean the shop up a little bit because we got all the parts laying around from yesterday. We need to make some space, so we're going to get it cleaned and organized before we do anything. But the first thing we're going to do is what? Finish your coffee?
Finish my coffee break.
That's the important thing.
Betcha.
Alright, we'll be back in a bit.
Have some chill out time, Dave. Chill out time before we get moving.
Alright. We all need to chill out a little bit. Alright, we've got things a little neater and organized out here. We've got our parts put away from yesterday. Got our socket sets all put back together. And got the floor swept. We're just about ready to continue on with the project, starting with this rear body mount. I brought a few longer blades for the reciprocating saw to be able to get that one mount off on this side. And then we'll progress and move to the passenger side, where we still have the rear bumper bracket to get off and the fender support to get off, and then we'll move to the front of the car and get the front bumper brackets off. So that's what we're up to. So just a quick note, since the doors don't have the catch plates or the latch mechanisms, we've actually just put a couple of blocks in here, spacer blocks, and we just tape them in place just to prevent the body flexing when we actually finally get to picking it up. So just wanted to make a quick note of that. And a bungee cord just keeping the door shut as well. So taking care of any flex there at that flex point. Okay, the passenger side rear mount is off. The bracketry is off for the bumper and for the fender mount. And we had a hard time getting off that rear mount. We're lucky that the bolt was new and not rusted. However, metric, different size wrenches, and again, hard to see up there what you've got. So that was a bit of a challenge. And the fact that they used this huge piece of steel for a spacer as opposed to this proper aluminum shim, we would have had a hard time cutting through this shim. So I'm glad we were able to get the fastener undone. It took us about a half an hour to get that done, but it's done. So we're now moving on to those front bumper brackets. So we'll go ahead and we'll work on here, and then that's pretty much it as far as getting things off to get the body off. So we'll be back. Alright, just coming up to about 1:45, I think, and we believe we have all the fasteners off the car. I guess we'll find out shortly. We've got the shop crane hooked up to the harness, and we're just about to do a lift off. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick lunch before we get into this, and then we'll get the body off. I'll set some more camera. I'll set at least one more camera up. Then we get a bit of a different angle, and then we'll be ready for liftoff. Excited, Les, to see that what the frame looks like?
Yeah, I want to see how kind of shape what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a toss-up between the other frame and this frame, which one's better. So And this one we've seen a few issues, but again, we're not going to really be able to see the whole of it before we get it off. So we'll find out.
The ends of this one are better.
Yeah, we'll see in a minute. Obviously, this one doesn't look bent. It doesn't look like it's been in an accident, but it looks like the sides of the frame rails at the rear have some soft spots in them. So anyway, we'll be back.
If there's a bit of welding,
Yeah.
might be better.
Yeah. I'd probably rather work on an undamaged frame as far as straightness is concerned versus trying to straightening a frame. So we'll see, and we'll make a comparison at some point, and we'll decide what frame we're going to go with. All right, that's it for now. We'll come back. Hey, ready, lads?
Metro to the city of Toronto, subway service has been suspended on the University line, just a short distance over between Eglinton and Lower Midtown. And that's all because
Okay, what are we gonna put underneath it?
Please, on that one, I don't like it. All underneath it. Just not touching the bottom of the filler though. Touching that. Just touch the bottom fill to the lead working. Alright guys, the sun has come out to allow us to get a little bit of video of this frame. And on first inspection, and again, just a really brief inspection, no prodding or poking with a pick or a hammer or a screwdriver. It actually doesn't look too bad. Some of the areas are better. I think the diff bridge is better than the other one. The pins don't look like they've cracked out. There is a problem here with the t-shirt section, as we probably anticipated on these cars. This is always a problem. See some rust coming through here and there on the other side. Up in here too is starting to go, so that top plate has to come off. As far as the overrider or the outrigger sections, they look a little suspect as well. Looks like they could use some work, but I've seen a lot worse, that's for sure. This side as well, you can sort of see it bulging a little bit here. So, but I don't see any damage up at the front of the frame. I do see a little bit of a, looks like the left side, driver's side rear frame might be elevated a little bit. Hard to say, but we'll take some measurements. There is a few little holes here on the bottom of this frame over on the passenger side, and again we're going to have to flip this frame over after we get it stripped and have a better inspection of it. But it doesn't look too bad. I've seen a heck of a lot worse, that's for sure. So, yeah, a little rusty here on the back.
The snake and grain job.
Alright, so there's a quick look of the frame from the top side. So we'll roll it back inside. Again, we'll do the same thing as we did with the 76. We'll get this up on jack stands and we'll get it stripped down. And we'll see what the rest of the frame looks like. We'll get it scraped down a little bit to get a little bit better inspection on this. That's it for now. Bring you back in a bit. Alright, just coming up to 3:50 in the afternoon. And we're just heading up to storage. It's currently not raining, but the skies are pretty dark over on that side, and that's the way we're going.
Some snow.
Could be snowing, but it's 12 degrees apparently outside, so it doesn't feel like it's 12 degrees. Anyway, we're going up to storage to get the trailer, and we're going to put the body in it, and we're going to store the body inside the trailer for now, and then we'll situate the frame back in the center of Les's shop, and we will take the components off the frame like we did to the 76, and then we will do an inspection between the two frames. We'll do a side-by-side comparison. We may even invite Alin to come up and have a look. That's up to Les if he wants to do that.
Where is he?
I don't know, we could probably send out the bat signal or something for him and see if he wants to come in and give us a second opinion on what frame he thinks might be the best to go forward with. I have an idea of what I think would probably be the best to go forward with. But anyway, like I said, before we get to that point, we'll get the other 73 frames stripped down to nothing on it like we did with the 76, and then like I said, we'll do a comparison side by side. So that's what we're doing. We'll be back. All right guys, just coming up to 5:15, and we've got the body stowed away safely at storage, and we've just come back to Les's shop and put the 73 chassis up on jack stands. So what we're going to do is the same process as we did with the 76. We're going to strip this down to the bare frame. And then I think what we'll do is, after we get this stripped, we will put the 76 frame and the 73 frame side by side for comparison purposes here in the shop. And we'll do some poking and prodding. Again, we haven't taken a look at the bottom of this 73 chassis yet, so we're not sure what the condition of the bottom is. We've got a fairly good evaluation of the top. So what we'll do, as I mentioned, we'll put them side by side. We'll have a quick look and comparison, and then decide what frame we want to move forward with, and then Les can start working to getting the frame probably media blasted and then painted. Well, obviously media blasted first, strengthened, repaired, etc., painted, and then he can start his, thanks for turning out the lights there, Les. Then he can start his build back up. All right, that's it for tonight. Les is turning the lights off. It means it's time to go home.
No.
Good night, Les.
Hi, Nines.